Hi, I'm Gina Pero, and a few weeks ago, I posted a video on Facebook, and I had mentioned, a movement that could really help your brain in the morning. And a friend phoned me and said, Gina, how do you know so much about the brain? And I had to share with him my story. And I'd like to share it with you. I was a Radio City Rockette 2009, and I'm walking to my position backstage, getting ready for Christmas in New York. I got my red costume on, I got my fur on, my makeup is good, I got my little Santa hat on, and I'm walking to my position, and boom! A young girl was backstage, and she jumped up like this and undercutted me. My neck snapped back, an unconscious concussion. I'm on the floor. I'm out. And my body, I remember, was like fighting, and it was just going crazy. I thought my teeth were missing. I had so much pain in my head. I had no idea what was going on, and the only thing that calmed me down was that my stage manager grabbed my hand and my whole body released. Sense of touch can really calm the nervous system. So when you have anxiety, you can grab somebody's hand. It's an instant anxiety release. And so take that for your Mary Poppins tool. But I want to carry on with this story because it's really important. I was on my way to the emergency room, and I was trying to text my mom and let her know what happened, and I couldn't articulate a sentence. I couldn't put a sentence together. And so I put my phone away, and I asked the gentleman driving me to the emergency room if there was something wrong with me. And I said, I just can't put together a sentence. And he said, don't worry, Gina, we're going to go to the emergency room. And so we pulled into the emergency room, and I'm standing in the waiting room, and he's talking to the woman in the administrative office, and I'm watching TV, and I'm looking at the TV, and all of a sudden like, it's a show about heroes. And I was like, wow, like I want to be a hero. And it was just like this divine intervention, I feel. So fast forward, I had an unconscious concussion, and two of my best friends had to sleep with me in my bed that night and wake me up every 2-3 hours and ask me my name and my address and who I was, and to see if I was remembering and to see if my brain was working properly. The next 3-4 days, they told me to do activities where you won't think. Well, I'm not sure about you at home, but I'm not really sure of activities that to do where you can't think. And so I really had to think about that. I was hoping they would just kind of give you a list of things to do instead of telling me kind of to do things that didn't make you think. So I went back into the show 4 days later. And I really started to have a lot of problems from there. My eyes were dilated. My eyesight went very, very bad. I had headaches, massive headaches. I had tingling down my spine. I had emotion going from happy to sad within like a second. I would do one number, and all of a sudden I was so tired after a 6-minute number, I didn't know what was going on. And so I started to learn about this process, about concussions and the brain. And I started to realize the importance of the brain and that it functions every single part of our body. I also started to realize where emotions come from and energy comes from. And I mean, you name it, my whole world changed. Now, I was working hard to get back into my show because I was afraid at the time I was going to lose my job. But it was a really awesome thing that I had good people around me to help me understand that this was my brain and it was the most important thing in my life. Because I was kind of willing to just go back in the show and do my job, and I didn't really care. That was a whole nother piece to the puzzle. That I would have sacrificed my vehicle, my brain, and my body just to, prance on the stage and be a reindeer. Let's talk about that another time. So long story short, here's how the brain works. It's like a video game, right? So you start, I had 10 minutes of exercise, and I did 10 minutes of exercise, no symptoms. And I would be able to move on to the next level. Next level, 15 minutes of exercise. No symptoms, I can move on to level 3. Level 3, 20 minutes of exercise, no symptoms. Level 4. Oh my gosh, level 4. 25 minutes of exercise. No symptoms. Level 5. I'm on a roll here. I'm going to get back in the show. Symptom. Guess what happens? You have to start all the way over, back at 10 minutes. So here's a takeaway for you. And if you want to come see my story, come see me speak at an event because that's coming up soon. Okay, so here's the takeaway. When you have an injury, when you have a habit, when you have a memory you no longer want, you have to daily continue that process until it is completely healed. So let's just talk about injuries first and foremost. When you have an ankle injury and you get through 10 minutes of exercise with no symptoms. Now, symptoms can be a tiny little sensitivity. We're not talking like, we're talking little. That's a symptom. So you have to listen to your body. You move on to the next level. No symptoms, you move on to the next level. The minute you get a symptom, you start over. And if you don't start over, you will live this process in an injury-filled life because you never followed how your brain works. So that's the takeaway. When you are injured, when you are in pain, fully get through the process until you are fully healed. And just stick to it. It's the hardest thing to do. It was the hardest thing for me to do. But because the brain became the most important thing in my life, because it functioned my body and I was a dancer, and if I lose this vehicle, I lose my life. I'm dead. Forget it. So it became the most important thing to me. So just listen to your body and follow that process. And I promise you, once you're fully healed, you will be able to move your vehicle through life more and more and more and more and more and more. But if you don't follow that process, you are totally sacrificing who you are and putting yourself on the line. Take care.